guys, my name's Craig, welcome to Small Farmer Life, and today guys I want to talk about the five things you should do when you first purchase your agricultural land. Forget about everything else. Forget about putting sheds up here and there. Forget about digging ponds all over the place. Forget about putting fences ad hoc all over the farm, because people do that. People just don't know where to start, or they spend money where they don't need to be spending money, and they waste time where they shouldn't be wasting that time. They should put the time and the money into something that's going to add value to the land and also be a good footing to start building a small farm up from scratch. Because if you don't have that footing, then you'll just be all over the place until you figure out that you're doing it all wrong. That's what a lot of people do. Believe it or not, I've seen some places that are right tip. There's materials all over the place. Nothing ever gets built because they haven't got a good plan of action and they haven't got anybody showing them where they're going wrong. And that's what I want this channel to be about. Firstly, is helping people get the right to live on land, but you'd also need to know where to start and where to put your money. If you don't know that, well, you don't know how to build a farm up from scratch, do you? So let's talk about the first things you need to do before you do anything else when you purchase your agricultural land. So what's the first thing you want to do when you've took possession of the land? Now you're thinking about something you need to do. What are you going to do? Well, you might think this is obvious, but put up new fencing. Now, I'm not talking about fancy fencing at the beginning, but you need to put up some new stock fencing, because if it's got old wooden fencing like down the bottom of my field, it needs repairing all the time. Now, the only reason I haven't done the bottom of my field is because that fence belongs to the railway, and I'm on top of the railway all the time trying to get them to come out and sort that fencing out. They're going to be putting a balustrade fencing up, but if they don't do it soon, I'm going to end up putting the fencing up that I've got, the crisscross fencing, but it'll have stock fencing behind it. But you could just get stock fencing put up. You can go and contact the local farmer and ask them if they know anybody who has a stock fencing strainer that goes on the back of a tractor, and it won't take them long. It'll take them about a day or two to do a couple of acre field, and the field will look beautiful with a hawthorn hedgerow trimmed back and a stock fence in front of it. And then you can put up a nice farm gate, put a chain around it, and put a private keep outside on the gate. You can put a nice farm sign on the gate to say it's your farm, and people will see that you're taking possession of the land and you're serious about keeping the land protected and it's your piece of land. Also, they can see that you're caring for the land, that you're actually going to be an asset to the community. I know it's only a fence, but it will mean a lot to the neighbours. They're looking out over that land also. So if they see nice fencing, it adds to the character and the landscape. So get the fencing sorted out at the beginning. You don't have to worry about it later on down the line, and it's not that expensive to do. So now you've got the fencing done around your farm, you need to think about the access. The access that you're going to build to your hard standing. This is number 2 and number 3. You're going to need to build good access to the hard standing, which is the beating heart of any farm. If you go down any access track to the farmhouse of a farm, you will end up in a big concreted area, and that is the hard standing of the farm. And around the hard standing, you normally see barns all around the outside of it, or around 2/3 of the actual hard standing. So think about where you're going to place the hard standing. Are you going to have it right at the front entrance, which I wouldn't advise? If you own 2 acres or 3 acres, try and put the hard standing somewhere to the centre of the land, because when you put the access track to the actual hard standing, you can fence off down the side of the access track. You can put nice trees down the side of the access track along the fencing, and you can fence off half-acre paddocks, 1/3 of an acre, 1/4 of an acre, and you can start building up what looks like a small farm and a small holding. And then when you get planning permission to build a barn around the outside of your hard standing, now it starts looking like a farm. But the hard standing has to be built correctly. You need to dig down at least minimum 150 millimeters, and then you need to get recycled type 1. You don't want to be buying type 1 straight from the quarry unless you've got the money to do it, but it will cost around about £3,000 to build 100 metres of access track and a 30 by 30 metre hard standing if you buy in recycled stone to do it. But you can put adverts on Facebook Marketplace, you can put adverts on Gumtree and those sorts of sites, just advertising to local builders and landscapers that you were offering a free tip for clean concrete and bricks and those sorts of things, and then just open the gate every day and hopefully people will turn up. Put your phone number on the advert, and if they ask you where it is, just give them the directions. Once they know, trust me, local builders will be there all the time. That's if you're not in a rush to do it. If you're in a rush to do it, just buy in the actual type 1 stone that you need. It will cost you several £1,000s to do it, but remember, you're only doing it once, and you only want to be doing it once. You don't want to be cheapskating on this sort of thing. This is going to be used a lot, so you need to remember that. And when you think about it, a few £1,000s to put in the beating out of your farm is not that much money. So make sure you do that properly, you do it once, and you do it right. Right guys, so the fencing's up now, it's nice and secure, it looks nice and neat, the beating out of the farm's there. That's going to take a lot of hammer over the lifetime of the farm. You're going to use it for lots of things. You've put in all the access track, so that's nice and strong. You're going to be accessing the land 365 days a year in all weather conditions. Now it's time to think about number 4 and number 5, which are water and electricity. Utilities are a huge thing when it comes to running a farm. Now, you can go off-grid if you want. You can dig a well if your water table is shallow enough. You can get down to the water table and pump the water up. That can be expensive to do. Same goes for power. If you're going to go off grid, you can use solar, you can use wind, and you can use battery packs, but they need maintaining, they need upgrading, and to run a full farm on, well, it might not be enough. So just call the National Grid, they'll come out, give you a quote. If it costs around about £6,000 to get connected, that's not bad. That's what it cost me, and I did all my civils, so it cost around about £7,500. Now, if you have to pay a way leave to cross someone else's land, let's say it cost you £10,000, that's not that much money when you think about it for the life of your farm. So just pay it, and believe me, it'll add value to the value of your land anyway. So it's one of those things, you're going to pay it once, but once it's done, it's done. And same goes for water, but water is a lot cheaper to be connected. It only costs around about £800 for the connection. Now, you might have to run pipe under the ground. That might cost you an extra few £100. It might cost you an extra £1,000. But even if it cost you £2,000 for water, wouldn't that be a good investment? And when you put the water pipe in, make sure if you're going to put polytunnels somewhere else other than the hard standing, make sure you run water outlets all over the farm and just cap them off so they're there if you need them in the future. Same for the electricity. If you're going to need it in different areas of the farm, run it to different areas and cap it off so it's there when you need it in the future. Now, you've got your fencing, you've got the beating out of your farm, the hard standing, you've got the access track, you've got water, you've got electricity, you've got everything you need to start building your small farm and your future of living a dream in the countryside. So guys, if you like the video, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, and you should subscribe, hit the subscribe button. If you want to be notified of more upcoming videos, hit the bell button. Thanks again to all my patrons. Couldn't thank you guys enough. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so for the price of a cup of coffee. Down below, I'll leave a link. If you want to ask any questions or you've got any comments, leave them in the comment section below. Until next time, guys, my name's Craig. You've been watching A Small Farmer Life. Make sure you take care of yourself, be genuine. Most of all, take care of the family. Bye for now. See you.